Hello everyone and welcome to the RNG University. On tonight's episode of Friday Night Explorer, explore Fires. So this deck is centered around Fires of Invention. The card works like this. I can only play spells on my turn, and I can cast no more than 2 spells per turn. But on my turn, I can cast spells that has a CMC less than my total land I control for free, which is insanely good because of a lot of effects in the deck. So it's another one of those combo heavy deck, sort of, I guess. You can call it combo, but it's just synergy heavy, and I think it's a pretty fun deck. Looking at it, I was playing a little bit in the Outdrain Day, so I have actually a lot of the cards. I had to go craft 4 Fires. Well, that was not fun, but that was the main card I had to craft. That's why I'm running this deck. It is an incredibly interesting looking deck. So let's look at what we have in the deck list. So we have 2 Skyclave Apparition as removal, and 4 temporary lockdown as a large removal against maybe those elf decks, like Elf Ball. This will be very good against it. And then we have 4 Bone Crusher Giant as early game removal / creature if we need to. This is also very good. And then we have 4 Fable the Mirror Breaker because, well, red, Fable, it's gonna run the way it is, right? And then we have 1 Supreme Verdict if we really need removal, and 4 Omnath, Locus of Creation. That is the center theme, or not the center theme, but the center card that we want to play with Fires of Invention, because then we don't have to play spells to get good synergy. We just have to play lands, and lands do not count as the 2 spell limit. So if we play a land that fetches a land, we can get 2 of the effects. That's always good. And then we have Kenrith, the Return King, the other theme of the deck, or I don't want to say theme, the other MVP of the deck. So basically what happens is we can play a bunch of cards for free because of Fires of Invention, and if we have extra mana, well, guess what? That goes into Kenrith ability. Get haste, get +1/+1 counter, gain 5 lives, draw a card, return a creature. All that can work with just 1 Kenrith, and Kenrith can be cast for free as long as we have 5 lands, which can't be that hard to do, right? So that is the other MVP. And then we have 2 Cavalier. Flame. This card just pumps all our creatures, give it haste, and when it enters the battlefield, we can discard any cards, draw that many cards, so when we can get the cards that we want, into our hand, right? And Cavalier, when it dies, it deals X damage, where X is the number of cards, number of land cards in my graveyard. So if there's a lot of land cards in my graveyard, well, guess what? This is going to be a big damage dealer. And then we have 4 Leyline Binding, which is more or less free, 1 cast really in our deck because we have a lot of domain, and also can be free if we have 6 lands and we have Fires of Invention, but we have to cast that on our turn. So this is more of a tempo removal than a control removal late game. And we have a companion. Well, guess what? Because all of our card costs at least 3 or more. With the Bone Crusher Giant, we have the instance on the adventure side that doesn't count as the CMC. We can put Keruga. Is it Keruga? Basically, all of our if all of our creatures or cards cost 3 or more, then we can have him as a quote-unquote commander, right? So it's basically in our command zone, we get paid 3 to put that into our hand, and well, guess what? If we have 5 lands, when Fire's out, this guy is free. And when it into the battlefield, we draw a card for each permanent we control with mana value 3 or more. So if we have, let's say, Omnath and a Kenrith out, this comes into play. In the Fires of Invention out, this comes into play, draws us how many cards? For each other permanent. So it draws us 3 cards just on its own, right? But honestly, if we have a lot of these permanent now, we can draw 4 or 5 cards, and a lot of our spells are still free. So we can play him, play something else, and we don't have to worry about it. The companion costs, paying 3 to put that into our hand, and then having to pay 5 more to cast him. Because guess what? With Fire out, we can pay 3 to put it into our hand, and he just comes out for free. That is amazing. Now, that all sounds good, but how well will it fare in the actual Explorer metagame? That's what we're here to find out. Now, if we look at the land base, the land base is insane. So there are 28 lands in the deck. That's a lot for a 60-card deck. We have 1 Egonjo, 1 Plain, 1 Otawara, 1 Island, 1 Swamp, 1 Mountain, 1 Sulkazin, 1 Forest. We got a lot, but we don't have the black land, what is it called, the Takenuma, and we don't have the green one, the Boseiju, right? Takenuma, because we don't have black that much in the deck, so there's no black cards in the deck, so Takenuma might be a little bit weaker. We have to have Swamp to be able to activate it to get the return ability, and we don't really get that often, whereas Kenrith, we can just activate it ourselves. And then we don't have Boseiju because, well, we got Skycliff, we got Leyline Binding, we got Temporary Lockdown. We got a lot of ways to remove artifacts and enchantments already, depending on how we want to pick them out. So that's why we don't have Boseiju in the deck either. And then we have a bunch of dual color lands, the shock lands. Follow Fountain, Sting, Vent, Stomping Ground, Sacred Foundry. I remember back in the day I crafted one of each because I thought EDH was coming because they had Historic Brawl. But then they ruined Historic Brawl with Alchemy cards, so now I just have a bunch of these shock lands that doesn't do anything. And I can't get rid of them, so they're into these decks now. Temple Garden, Breeding Pool. I don't have 2 Sacred Foundry. The deck list I found has 2 Sacred Foundry, so I just put in the Sacred Peak. That's a weaker Foundry, but it's still a mountain plane, like a mountain plane. So it still will trigger Leyline Binding if I needed to. Alright, and then these are all of our shock lands. Then we have Jetmir Garden, 2 Spara Headquarter, a Savai Triumph, 3 Kitria, there's a bunch of Triumphs, right? So Kitria Triumph, Idata Triumph, and Raggreen. Who made these names up? Come on. Alright, so basically all the Triumphs that we can fit that we think are good. I wanted to have more the Jeskai color, but I can't because I only have 1. And I want to craft more since these are rotated out. Alright, so I only have 1, and I put in Kitra Triumph instead, the Teamer version. If I have more, I probably want to run 2 rather than 3-1. And then for Fable Passage, it might look funny because we don't have that many basic lands, right? But Fable Passage is fantastic because we have combo with Omnath. And if Fable Passage cannot combo, well, we can always pitch it to, Fable. We can pitch it to Cavalier of Flame. So it's not just dead in our hand. Okay, so that's the whole deck list. And now we can finally go and play the game. Wait, no. Can I cancel this? I accidentally clicked on play and not on ranked. So let me go back and play on ranked because I want to play my rank. And I want to rank down heavily for playing decks that I don't know how to play, because that is what we do. So let's go to Explorer Ranked. There we go. If your timer fuse runs down, you will automatically use one of your 30-second extension if available. Well, what happened if it's not available? Why don't you tell us that? Does my face explode? Purchasing the Mastery Pass from the store will give you all of the rewards. I mean, I think everyone knows that. You should really purchase the Mastery Pass. It's basically free gold and free gem. You just gotta finish it. Alright, we go first. We got 3 lands, we got Fires, we got Temporary Lockdown, and 2 Omnath. I'm gonna keep... It's not a great hand, but you know what? It's something I can work with. We're gonna start with a tap land into a Stomping Ground, into a Gonjo to maybe activate Temporary Lockdown. Hopefully in those 3 turns I'll draw 1 land. And I just need 1 land for Fires to get Omnath out, to maybe get Keruga and play Keruga. Oh, that would be a fun... It won't let me play this as land. Why won't it let me play as a land? I don't know. An empty stream. Opponent's a programmer. And a black player. And a thought... Ugh. Well, there goes our dream of Fires. It's okay, we still got Omnath, so Omnath will tempo our opponent. I mean, is there really a choice here? If he doesn't choose Fires, I'm gonna plot. Well, okay, he probably has another Thoughtseize in his hand if he doesn't choose Fires. Our opponent's reading every card. Okay. I have no idea what happened. Why did he choose that? Not gonna argue. Probably has another Thoughtseize. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Thoughtseize. There you go. Does he want me to get rid of both Omnath? That would be a very awkward play. I mean... What was his plan? Oh, he's gonna eat it. That makes sense. Let's play all the fire, and we can play our... Oh, we cannot play our Keruga, huh? And we can play our Supreme Verdict. It's still free. I forgot I need 5 lands for Keruga, but Supreme Verdict is free. Shadow. Well, that just kind of feeds into this. Lockdown. Cast with alternate costs. Well, why not? It's free. I cannot play more than 2 spells a turn. And I'll have this come into play tapped. I don't need the mana, and I'll use this to play for free. Draw 2 cards. Eee, that's no good. No bueno when the 2 cards I draw are both lands. There are 28 lands in the deck, so it's bound to happen. Bone Crusher Giant as a creature. Cycle. Not a spell, I can play it. Another land. Alright, I can exile that, right? That is not a creature. Or that is not a token. So... I need 6 lands out total, so let me put out a breeding pool. And that's all I will play. The rest, the lands, are made for pitches. He can hold up Hive. Shield you. That's no fun. I can attack, and maybe he'll block. Well, if we draw something other than lands, this game might work. But, you know, when you have half a deck full of lands, and the shuffler that's deciding that you lose, all I'm going to get is lands. This deck is terrible. Yeah, like I said, all I'm going to get is lands. I know when I say this deck, I mean my opponent's deck. Now, my deck is fun. My opponent's deck is just basically mono... the Rakdos in Standard plus Thoughtseize, which is nothing. What? Okay, I don't know what was going on, but this is not fun. Maybe he'll give me a Kenrith top deck. An empty string. I'm pretty sure our opponent has some deal with Magic Arena so that they get better draws than we do. Because this is a horrendous hand. This is a horrendous deck. And somehow they're beating us because... reasons. All of the reasons. Stomp it. What can he do? I don't know what he's waiting for, but something's happening. Our deck is full of card draws. To be fair, right? We have Fable, we have the Cavalier of Flames. But we're not drawing them. That's... they have their Fable. That's... yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's leave. So, that game, basically the shuffler decided we weren't going to win. So, we drew 5-6 lands in a row. Still, I stand by this deck. It looks very fun. And to be able to play free spells, that's always crazy. Alright, so it's just, I don't know, variance. General High Sign. We get to go first. We got Fable and 2 Fires. So I guess the moral of that story is I gotta be careful playing Keruga. Well, mirror match time. So... I guess I'll search for a mountain first. I wanted to save this for Omnath, but there's no guarantee that I have Omnath. And yeah, this is the worst thing Matchmaker does to people. Mirror matches. Like, what do you think people play Magic for? Because I'll tell you, it's not mirror matches. Nobody in the entire world ever appreciates fighting a mirror match. Because it's not fun. There's no skill set whatsoever in a mirror match. It's just about if you're lucky, since you have the same cards. Does your opponent get better card than you? Do you get better card than your opponent? Fable. Okay, to discard 2 cards. I want to keep my fires though. I'll discard the Spara. Do I have green? I have green, white, and blue. I can discard Spara. And the Otawara? Otawara is pretty good. So I'll discard the fires. Alright. Well, let's go into combat first. I'll pay the life. Do I want to play my fires? Or do I want to bring this out? Put it in my hand. Now end turn. He has 3 mana. What can he play as an instant? Leyline Binding. I don't know if he wants to do that. That doesn't feel correct to me. I want to do the same thing. Well. I also have a Leyline Binding on your Leyline Binding. Watch me bind the bind. And I'll get to discard 2 more cards. I don't need Supreme Verdict. And I don't need a Fabled Passage. Let's go into combat first. It's 2 treasure tokens that I can use. Let's play a giant. And I want the Sulkazin out. That's not 4, huh? I don't know why I thought it was 4 lands. That was 3 lands. Or 3 mana that I have open. I can't use the Otawara until I have 4. But that's fine if he plays fires. I will draw how many cards? Temporary Lockdown. That's on the small things. That's fine. I still have a giant out. That's... well, unless he has another Leyline Binding. I have my Temporary Lockdown. Now, it's probably not a good time to have a Temporary Lockdown on our opponent, since it didn't really do anything. So let's just have a Bone Crusher Giant out again. And it will draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards. He probably has a Leyline Binding, right? Fosage you on my Leyline Binding. Let's see. What can I do? I can bounce the Leyline Binding so that his Leyline Binding only hits 1 thing, and I still have a Leyline Binding in my hand. How good is that versus his Leyline Binding hitting nothing? I mean, I get a land too. Ooh, whatever land I can have? Okay, let's see. I have blue, white, red. I just need one that's black, right? So, let's get one that's has a swamp in it. What can you take out? Kiki Jiki? I would take out the Kiki Jiki. Oh, and then we have Cavalier Flame. That's fantastic. Skyclave. What are you going to target? My Kiki Jiki. Do I want to save Kiki Jiki? He has 3 mana open. No, it's fine. That's just another Fable. Okay, so my Cavalier Flame will turn 1, Right, 1, 2 cards. We'll turn 2 cards. How good is that? I don't need to turn 2 cards right now since I'm not top decking all lands. I actually have plays this turn. So I want to Bone Crusher out the 2/2. He has no response. He doesn't have a fire. I have a fires. So how many lands do I have in my graveyard? 2? Okay, so I'll play the Flames then. 1, 2. I'll just submit 2. Now I have 3 lands in the graveyard. And if Cavalier Flame dies, he just dies. I have 4 lands in the graveyard. So if Cavalier Flame dies, he will take 4. He's gonna draw some cards. He's gonna draw 2 cards, right? Perfect time. Actually, no. He has wide open. I can't let him have that. Draws 2 cards. That's fine. He's tapped out. Good game. Like I said, mirror matches are not fun. I got a way better draw than he did because I have 2 fires, and I got to go first, so I had the tempo advantage. So I wouldn't even count that as, you know, strictly my win, even though I played beautifully and made absolutely no mistakes. Also, I want to bring everyone's attention to this. Is this worth it? Is this worth it? $29.99 for 10 packs? That seems for 10 packs. That seems ridiculous because on Arena, $1 a pack is something that I would consider. I don't even know if it's reasonable, but it's something that I would consider it because that's the deal you can get, right? It's on pre-release days, it's $50 for 50 packs. $20 or $30 for 10 packs? Come on, that's a ripoff. Capucino. Opponent goes first. We only have 2 lands. I don't know if I can keep this. Alright, opponent still goes first. I don't know why Mulligan would not let opponent go first. I have Skyclave Apparition, which is pretty good. Temporary Lockdown is probably good against our opponent. I don't know. I'll put this back because I have Leyline and Skyclave. Okay, well, we'll start with a Triumph. I'm just not sure which one. Let's start with this one. No, let's start with this one. Because I already have red if I need red turn 2, which only the Giants turn 2. So I don't really need it that badly. Our opponent's blue though, so I'm not really sure what we're doing. Is it Phoenix? Is it Phoenix? Is it Phoenix? Is it Phoenix? Ugh. Opponent went first, so they got their first Fable. I could Skyclave. I cannot Skyclave the Shaman. I can Skyclave the Fable. Or I can make my own Fable. Which one is good? I can also Binding the Shaman so he doesn't get a token. Is that good? That is a questionable play, right? I'll have it enter tapped so I can bind this. I'm afraid of the treasure token. Usually when you let blue decks ramp, oh, that's when it's bad. Hey, our opponent's using me as a sleeve. That's my avatar, jerk. You're in your phage. Well, he's got 4 lands open and nothing to play. Does that mean I want a Fable? Or does that mean I want to channel my Sokazin? Do nothing to my opponent. What does channeling the Sokazin do, honestly? I mean, I'm just going to get countered, and that's about it. Right, with a combo deck like this, you're just going to get countered left and right. And I have no way to outdo the opponent in those scenarios. Unless our opponent taps out, which I definitely do not think is going to happen. Oh yeah, didn't happen. So he has 4 lands and a Reflection. If he has something to counter the Skyclip, I just quit. Because then that's it for the game. Once Reflection is live, there's no way for us to get out of this. Unexpected Windfall. That's a treasure deck. Well, that makes it even less fun. Our opponent's still living in 2021. Are you gonna have your dragon here too? You gonna play your dragon? You gonna take an extra turn? Is all wrong with Epiphany? Oh, it's creativity. What does he have with creativity? Locust God. And if you draw a card, you discard a card. That's nothing. Why is this in your deck? Is this infinite? Is that why? Whenever another non-human creature in the battlefield. Oh, okay. Well, that's infinite. I'm just gonna leave. I don't have something to get rid of the whole hand or the whole board there. I could top deck Supreme Verdict, which is the one-off in the deck, but I'm pretty sure he has a way to give it haste. Yeah, that's the problem with playing Explorer. I don't know all the decks. I hope the Explorer doesn't turn into another Modern, where everyone is just trying to win turn 1 or turn 2. And, you know, that's what happened with, well, Legacy, everyone's trying to win turn 1, so whoever goes first just wins. And we are not going first again. But I am going to keep this hand. It's high variance. It's an elf deck. I have fires. So let me put the Triumph out first. Next turn I can Bone Crush his Land Ward. Eesh. That's no good. Alright, so whenever he casts an elf spell, and I'll let him cast an elf spell. So, pick out the Land Ward. I need to top deck an untapped land, which I don't have that many in the deck. So, well, I need to top deck my Plank, basically, for the temporary lockdown. Otherwise, he's just gonna get all his values. He's gonna get all his values. But no ramp. At least no ramp, right? I can play the Triumph so that I can get the Bone Crusher Giant out. Or, how good is it to get the Bone Crusher Giant out? Next turn I play Fire and Lockdown. I can get 4 mana from the second land in Omnath next turn. And with the second lands in Omnath, no, not that useful. Because I get a lot of mana. Okay, let me tell you what my play is while our opponent's taking their whole turn. So my plan was get a tap land out. Next turn I can play Fires to get Omnath. And then, with Omnath, the turn after I can Fable. But that's 2 turns. And I don't know if I have 2 turns. So next turn, this way. Ooh, Circle of Dream Druid. Does it make elf cost 1 less? I'm confused. How do you do this? Oh, it's the Nithos. Okay, that's what happened. I was very confused there. So now my play is to... I have Swamp, Forest, and every other color, so I need to fetch for a white. So that I can have temporary lockdown. And this way I can have Fires, and then temporary lockdown to lock down these 2 things. And that's the only spell I can play this turn. So now it's a 2/1 that taps to add a green for each creature he controls. His Nykthos only adds 1 mana. Or no, it's gonna add 3 mana, right? His Devotion is 3. That's annoying. But I don't think I'm gonna block. Might as well aggro. So next turn I can Omnath. He's not going to be able to pop both enchantments, is he? I don't know, he's green. So if he doesn't pop both enchantments, I still have my fire. I can Omnath to get 2 lands, or to get a land and 2 land effects. And one is to gain 4 life, and then the second is to add mana. I cannot get 3 lands into play in one turn. Unfortunately, that would be really good. I don't have that kind of ability in this deck. Another Leaf Crown. Okay. What else does he have? Secluded Courtyard's pretty good for an elf deck. You're gonna need any color than green? Maybe a little bit of black? I mean, come on. Well, why didn't you tap your Nykthos? Yeah, what? What? Okay, so that means I want to Omnath into getting the 4 mana to Keruga. That way I can get my Keruga in my hand, right? Otherwise, my play is just not very good in any other way. And I cannot get... Actually, no, this is only 1 land. I already used my Fable. So I can pay 3 for Keruga. I can already get it in my hand. And I draw 1, 2, 3. So maybe this is better than Omnath. No, I have to play a land. I gain 4 life. I don't know how important 4 life is. So let's play the Keruga for free and draw 3 cards. There it is, Skyclave Apparition. So I want to take out that land, or that creature that makes lands. Enter the battlefield, target opponent lose life equal to the number of elves. That's fine. No elves for you. Where does this get pumped? Is it from this? Okay. Attack! He just takes it. We have a lot of temporary lockdown in deck. I'm pretty sure it's 4 decks like these, but I have no idea. One has a lot of lands. Elvish Mystic. Gets a lot of card draws for free because of the Leaf Crown Visionary. Jespera Sentinel. That's fine. All of these died to the temporary lockdown, so I'll let it go. It's not really doing anything to me. He's thinking about using his Nykthos. He does. And he has 3 more mana. So he can play a 2-drop elf. And draw another card. Yep. There goes all his mana. That's a lot of elves you have. Would be a shame if someone locks them down temporarily. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. But first I'll Cavalier. I can play 2 spells, right? So I'm going to Cavalier. For 1, 2, 3. Pitch 3 cards. Draw 3 cards. Alright, and then look at this. This is temporary, but this is also eternal. Oh, what happened to your board? Okay, so then we can activate it and swing and GG. Opponent quits. We win! Alright, so that's our Friday Night Explorer for you. The deck is fun, but it's a lot of thinking involved because you can only play 2 spells a turn, and you can only play on your turn. So it's not just draw go. It's not just, you know, look at me, I have the right place at the right time and I win. It's a lot of thinking, working out exactly what kind of outs you have, and that's my kind of deck. So I do really like this deck. Obviously it has no counter spells because with Fires out, you cannot play on your opponent's turn, so you can't counter anything. That is the downside, and it's not a control deck. It's full combo. But with full combo, this deck is insanely fun when you can get it off, right? The Cavalier of Flames gets haste and rushes over your opponent. Keruga, it actually matters a lot. This companion is the actual commander of the deck. Every time we play it, we draw like 3 or 4 cards for free, right? With Fires, this card is 0 cost, and usually Fires in play, and we have 2 or 3 other permanents, so this will draw 3 or 4 cards, and with that we win the game. And that's how good this deck is. So I mean, is it top tier in Explorer? No, it's not top tier. It has no counter spell. It will get stopped by your opponent if they just counter your Fires. but it's not low tier either. I think it's strong enough that you can catch your opponent in a in a bad play, and then your Fires of Invention will go off. It only goes off in one turn, and that's all you need, right? If your opponent doesn't realize that you're about to play Fires and they tap out in a counter deck, you play Fires, you play Cavalier Flames, you can draw a bunch of cards, recycle your whole hand, and then with the remaining mana, pump everything and going for a swing. And if they kill Fires or Cavalier, you then ping them with the damage that Cavalier does. It's kind of the idea. Temporary Lockdown is insanely good against so many things in the meta, just because you can lock down all the small creatures and allow you to kind of stall until your Fire's turn. So the deck is only weak against Counterspell. Every other sort of matchup, you have a strong you're a strong contender, I would say. All right, that's what I got for you today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.